Around the time that Moses was on the mountain waiting for God to give him the 10 commandments, after God gave him the commandments, God told him, arise, get up. The people, your people, whom you brought out of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have made an idol for themselves. Did you catch that? God said they have made an idol for themselves. But you see, the reason why they made those idols was not because they loved the idols, was because they needed an excuse to chase their own desires. That is why they were worshiping the idols. The Bible said that it turned into an orgy of drinking and sex. As they claimed they were worshiping the idols, they abandoned the idols and they started having sex with each other and they started drinking. Did you catch that? They made an idol for themselves. Idol worship is all about myself. What can I get? What do I want? I want this, I want that. This thing must happen. It's all about the will of man. But worshiping God is all about the will of God. We exist to bring glory to God. The book of Corinthians said, let everything you do in your eating and drinking be for the glory of God. That is why I tell you, it takes selflessness to truly serve God. Because God took the first step of selflessness when Jesus Christ died on that cross. All these people that are saying God does not exist, asking all sorts of nonsense questions. See, the truth is that behind every word and every question, there is a motive. Their true motive is what I'm saying now. They just want an excuse to chase around their desires. That's why they make up excuses, telling themselves that there is no God. Those days, man worshipped idols. Today, man worships knowledge. Man thinks he's enlightened. And the funny part is, it's actually an organization that made up the propaganda of enlightenment. Go and search it, the Enlightenment. They call the Illuminati organization made it up. It may seem like conspiracy theory, but go and check it out. To make it seem like man could reach a level of knowledge where he becomes a god. And the funny part is that man does not know that the devil is using the same tricks that he used on him before. That is why sometimes when I see that, I just think to myself, human beings are actually really dumb. It's just by the mercy of God that some of us are saved. Because the same tricks that the devil used in the past is what he's still using now. You would think that human beings would be smarter. When the devil came to Eve, he told Eve, can you eat of all the fruits in the garden? Eve said, we can eat from all of them, except the one in the middle of the garden. For God said if we eat of it, we will die. Now, the serpent said, you will not die. Did God really say you will die? No. You are not going to die. You will be like God, knowing good and evil. You will be wise. And the Bible specifically said that Eve looked at the fruit and she saw how beautiful the fruit was. And she saw how important and desirable and how wonderful it would be to be wise. And then she ate the fruit. Did you catch that? It is much learning and knowledge that has made people today to think that God does not exist. Because when you know too much, you think you know too much. But yet we all know nothing. I am the wisest man in the world because one thing I do know is that I know nothing. How you are interacting with reality is how you are perceiving reality. But it does not mean that is what reality is. That is why you must be careful. We don't see reality. We see our reality. Your interpretation of what happens in the world matters. Why do I trust the Bible? Because the Bible has been tested accurately. The facts are right. The Bible is not, it's a very, very accurate historical book. There was an historian that wrote records about some things that happened at a time that, around the time of Bible history. And that historian wrote something about that time. And the Bible wrote something about that time too. But the Bible got it right. And that historian got it wrong. The Bible is a more accurate book than every other book in existence. The four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, were written and the latest one was written 20 years after Jesus Christ died and rose from the dead. And they were written by eyewitnesses, or people that knew eyewitnesses. And many of you cannot say, what makes you think they did not add things from it? Of course you will ask that question. But why don't you ask the same question for other historical characters? Do you know that the latest writing we have of Alexander the Great is 450 years after he died? But yet you still take it as historical fact. But yet, Jesus Christ, that the latest writing is 20 years after he died and rose from the dead. You still don't want to take it. My brother, get real. You are the one holding yourself back. You have no excuse. And the funny part is when you stand before God and you are about to be judged, that you will not begin to cry and understand what I'm saying.